My cousin lied and said I touched her. Everyone turned their back on me. 9 years later, they found out she lied. My parents texted me, but I'm not sure I'll ever forgive them. I've grew up in what was probably the most normal of normal households. Parents worked a lot, but still managed to care for me and my 3 older sisters. We were never super close as a family, but never had any issues either. Same goes for my extended family. They always lived a few hours away, but we saw each other during summer holidays or Christmas and always got along great. But when we got older, we naturally grew apart as everyone had their own lives. I'm 31 now. 9 years ago, when I was 22 and attending uni, I got a phone call from my mother that turned my life upside down. I remember I didn't even answer at first because I was gaming with friends. But she called again immediately after the first call. This was an unwritten rule in the family. If you call twice like that, it's important. Like someone died important. So, when she called again, I excused myself and answered, only to hear chaos in the other end. Like people were arguing. But when my mom realized I had answered, it sounded like she went to another room and closed the door. I just asked what was going on and I heard she was crying. My memory of this conversation is a bit blurry, but she basically asked me if I had something to confess to regarding Emma. Emma is my cousin on my mom's side and is 7 years younger than me, 15 at the time. At that point, I hadn't even seen Emma for several years. I just said no and asked what this is about. She just cried even harder and started accusing me of Emma back when we were children. That Emma had told everything to my sister, and that my sister told my mother and my aunt. Emma had told them that back when she was 9 and I was 16, she'd been playing in my room when I came in and started feeling her under her clothes and kissing her. My mother screamed at me to say something, but I couldn't even speak. It was all so absurd. I remember thinking that must be some bad joke. The last thing I remember saying was that it's not true and that Emma is lying. But then my mom goes on saying that how Emma gave such a detailed description of where and how. Then she kept asking something like, "Did you do this? Did you do this?" And I just screamed back at her no each time. It all ended with my mom putting me on speaker and both my mom and dad saying that they don't want anything to do with me and never to contact them again. 2 of my sisters texted me later that day, pretty much saying that I'm disgusting and then blocked me. I know it's weird, but after that call, I went to have a long shower. To this day, I still don't know why I did that. After calming down, I started calling and texting everyone, even Emma. No one answered, and the ones who hadn't blocked my number by then quickly did so. The only thing I heard back was from my father, who texted me to stop contacting them and that they need to heal. That was 9 years ago, and I haven't spoken to anyone in my family since that day. To say this effed me up is an understatement. I was living in a haze for weeks after that and hardly ate at all. It didn't help that this was right before I was supposed to defend my bachelor's thesis and was already stressed out. Luckily, my co-writer sensed something was up and saved me by controlling the conversation so that I got the easy parts. Without him, I'm sure I would have failed. Needless to say, no one came to my graduation. Then started the worst period of my life. I spent the first year expecting the cops to knock on my door and arresting me for SA. I didn't land any jobs, just living off my saved money. I drank a lot and did oxy. I also grew resentful and violent. The only reason I didn't hurt anyone is because no one was around. My neighbor called the cops on me once after I had smashed a glass, but I managed to convince the officers that I had just dropped it, and they went away since there were no others inside my apartment. Instead of sleeping, I spent my nights planning how I could hurt Emma and make sure no one ever found out. Even thinking how I could actually do the things she'd accused me of, but much worse. I know, I'm not proud of that. I landed my first real job in my field 1 year later. Only then did things start to improve. I focused all my time on my job, as it gave me something normal to do. Recovery was a slow process, but I drank less, sober now for 4+ years, and smiled more. I lived cheap and earned good money, so I made a point of buying myself a nice gift for my birthdays, a VR headset, a motorcycle, Lego, etc. And last year I moved from my shitty apartment and bought a small house. It was an old dream of mine to have my own garage and a garden to care for. This has boosted me even more. So my life is okay now. I still got problems. I've been on antidepressants for the last few years, and while they help, it's not in a happy way. They simply remove the dark thoughts and replace them with dead ones. My trust in other people is close to non-existent. I've tried dating, but only been on 2 dates with 2 different women. It's really hard to speak like a normal person when it comes down to it. And what would I tell a potential partner when she asks about my family? Oh, you know, they accused me of a heinous crime, and we're not talking anymore. But I didn't do it, I swear. My field is very male-dominated, so the only woman I really speak to is my therapist, who I like a lot. If this text was difficult to follow, I apologize. I'm not good with words on the best of days, and I started rambling a bit when it all came back to me. It's already getting long, so I will fast forward to my current issue. A few days ago, I received a text from my mother. It felt unreal, and I was scared to open it at first, so I just stared at the notification for hours before opening it. Yesterday, another text followed. Translated, they basically say, text number 1. Hi. It's been so long since we talked. We miss you and want to know how you're doing. Here she writes a long text about my sisters and how my nieces and nephews are getting big. I didn't even know I was an uncle. Know that we love you and always will. Mom and Dad. Text number 2. Hi. We understand if you don't want to talk to us after what happened, but please listen. Last month, the subject of you was brought up at a family gathering. During this, Emma was downplaying everything that had happened to her. It got so awkward that she finally admitted that nothing happened and that she probably just dreamed it. We were all appalled by this. When we last spoke, we wanted to protect Emma and did the only thing we thought we could do. We know that's not excusing how you were treated. What Emma did was wrong, and we're all angry at her. We have called everyone that knew and told them the truth. We all want to speak with you, and your sisters want you to meet their families. Please write back if you can find it in you to forgive us. Mom and Dad. So yeah, that's my situation right now. I haven't answered, but they no doubt know I've seen it. Truth be told, I'm seething. So many old, shitty memories are now stirring again. I don't want to forgive them, and I wouldn't trust myself to be in the same room as them right now. Part of me wants to call my family and unleash everything on them, to guilt them with everything I went through until they all hit their rock bottom. Then dedicate my life to make my cousin's life as miserable as possible. The other part wants to ignore them and continue with my okay-ish life with my motorcycle and my garden to keep me company. I don't have any friends. The only people I speak to are my coworkers, but we're not really close. I've called my therapist's clinic, but they told me she's on vacation and won't be available for weeks, and I don't want anyone else than her. So that leaves internet strangers. So please, where to go from here? Do I ignore them and continue as is? Or do I answer? And if so, what to even write? I'm pretty sure meeting them in person would be a bad idea for a foreseeable future, but I'm not even sure how my life can improve from picking up those old threads. As embarrassing as it may sound, I've dreamed about the day when they apologized to be them throwing themselves to the ground and kissing my feet. Sending a text seems so anticlimactic now. Best comments. Your family left you on read for 9 years. They can wait a few weeks. I'm really sorry this happened to you. It is disgusting they all treated you like a pariah when you did nothing. I hope someday you will be able to trust again. Good luck to you. You owe your family absolutely nothing. Take your time, think it through, proceed with caution. There's not even a real "we're sorry" in that whole thing. Just a "let's just pretend this never happened" from Mom and an "oops, our bad" from Dad. Damn, what a bunch of assholes, and sorry this happened to you. You live without them for 10 years, and you are still alive. If it was me, I would leave their message on read, change my phone number, and make damn sure they could never contact me again. No way I'd relieve them of any guilt or let them have any closure. Either way, take your time to think it over. Update number 1. I just want to address something I saw a few people mention, that my therapist wouldn't leave for that long without telling me. I don't know how this works in other places, but this is a state-run clinic, no hourly rate or anything. I got assigned to her when first going there, which means she will continue to get me on meetings that follows. But that is not 100%. If she's on leave or sick, I might get someone else. 4 to 6 weeks of vacation is not uncommon. Update number 2. 39 days after the first post. It's been a while since my last post, and I can't count the people asking me for an update. Many people told me I should pursue legal action. I didn't mention this in my first post, but I decided against that long ago for a few reasons. Best case, she would get a slap on the wrist, and I wouldn't gain much at all. I just don't think it's worth the legal headache. And if I somehow would end up losing, I'll owe her legal costs. With that cleared up, I'll add what's actually going on with my life right now. Know that I wrote the original post in an anger and because I was completely lost on what to do. I needed a kick to the head, and I got that within like the first 5 to 10 comments. That was really all I needed. I've met my therapist, and we've had 2 talks so far. She also read the original post and many of your comments. While she would have preferred me to confide in a colleague of hers, in the end she was glad you guys told me to calm down a bit and wait. She knows firsthand how I can get when angry. I won't go through everything we talked about, but it comes down to that I may respond to my parents at some point, but if I do, it won't be anytime soon. I've started writing everything down that I want said to my family, and then my therapist, and I will go through those things continuously. For those who asked, they haven't tried to contact me further. I will not be updating this issue anymore, nor will I be commenting unless it's something very important. I don't want to be rude and I appreciate all the support, but it really is draining sometimes. I was almost glad when the moderators locked the comments on the first post. I'd like to end by saying thanks again to all the people who's been wishing me well and checking up on me. And for the people writing to check that I'm still alive, don't worry. You don't have to do that. I'm off work for a while and not using the computer much. I'm busy painting my garage. Best comments. I'd force them to cover 10 years of medical costs. Ball is in your court and they're filled with guilt. I would never be able to forgive a betrayal like that and help them get rid of their guilt by responding them. Your family hasn't tried contacting you again in over a month? Really? I still think that your family isn't worth being in contact with. At least now you know that you are vindicated and you can let your anger towards life in general go. Try to make some genuine friends and live your life to the fullest.